Okay, you've got your popcorn ready, you're itching for a good dose of spooky fun, but you're wondering, does Beetlejuice, 36 years in the making, really live up to the hype? That's what we're here to unpack.
We've got reviews, plot details, the whole shebang.
And it's more than just a sequel, isn't it? It's a cultural artifact.
We're looking at how this movie tackles the legacy of the original, the evolution of Tim Burton's style, and even how our understanding of the paranormal has shifted since the 80s.
Right. Like back in '88, being into ghosts was niche. Now you've got paranormal investigators on every streaming platform. So where does Beetlejuice fit into all of that?
Exactly. And one of the smartest things this sequel does is bring back the Dietz family, 3 generations of them. That's your hook right there, how different generations view the supernatural.
Okay, so picture this. We're back in that iconic, slightly terrifying Victorian house in Winter River. Only now, it's not just about newly deceased Adam and Barbara Maitland trying to scare away the living. Lydia Dietz, our goth queen, is all grown up.
And Winona Ryder's back to play her, which adds this whole other layer of nostalgia, right? But here's what's interesting. Lydia's turned her childhood fascination with the afterlife into a career. She's basically the OG ghost whisperer.
And her daughter, Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, who, let's be real, speaks directly to Gen Z horror fans, is not impressed. Think moody teenager rolling her eyes at her mom's eccentric career choice.
It's a brilliant way to explore how the normalization of the paranormal might play out within a family dynamic. Lydia, who was once the strange one, is now the expert, while her daughter is the skeptic.
But hold on, because it gets even juicier. Astrid ends up, wait for it, in the afterlife. And you know what that means, right?
A potential encounter with the one and only Beetlejuice. Now, Michael Keaton returning to the role is huge. He is Beetlejuice in so many ways. But the question is, how has Beetlejuice himself changed?
Or has he? Because the synopsis hints that he might not be too thrilled to be dragged back into the land of the living. He's chaotic, he's unpredictable, and maybe being a bioexorcist was just a phase.
And let's not forget Dolores. Monica Bellucci, talk about gothic glamour, is playing his, well, let's call it a complicated relationship. They had a bit of a rough patch in the underworld.
Okay, rough patch might be an understatement. Apparently, Dolores had to staple herself back together after whatever went down.
See, this is where things get really interesting. This isn't just your typical rom-com reunion. This is Burton exploring the afterlife with a capital A. What happens to love, relationships, even grudges, when death isn't the end?
Okay, so we've got this whole reunited and it feels so good thing going on with Beetlejuice and Dolores, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
The synopsis also mentions a family tragedy that brings the Dietz family back to Winter River.
Oh, yeah.
Is it just me? Or does that sound like the perfect setup for a family reunion gone horribly wrong?
It's a classic trope for a reason. Family tragedies often unearth those secrets we like to keep buried, those unresolved issues that we try to pretend don't exist. And in this case, it's the catalyst for bringing everyone back together.
This whole tragedy angle is a bit of a departure from the original Beetlejuice, wasn't it? In that one, it was more about a family dealing with their own grief, trying to find their place in a world that seemed to have moved on without them.
Exactly. But now we're dealing with a family dealing with a shared past, potentially a shared guilt, and maybe a shared responsibility. It adds a new layer of complexity to the Dietz family dynamic.
So what does this mean for our favorite Gothic family? What secrets are lurking in those dusty old Dietz family photo albums? We're talking skeletons in the closet, literally and figuratively.
And it's not just about the Dietz family. We've got a new player in the game, Willem Dafoe. He's a master of the dark, intense, and utterly intriguing character.
Right. It's safe to say that his presence alone ups the ante. Think about it. Dafoe, Beetlejuice, Dolores, and all the Dietz family drama.
It's like a gothic symphony of chaos.
Exactly. What's interesting is that Dafoe's usual roles often involve a character with a hidden agenda, maybe some secrets of their own. This definitely adds fuel to the fire of speculation about what's going down in Beetlejuice. Okay, before we get lost in the shadows of speculation, we should probably talk about what critics are saying about this whole thing. You know, because it's Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, there's pressure.
It's a lot to live up to. And we do have a review from CinemaSurf, giving the film a 60%. So a mixed bag, but let's unpack this.
From what I'm seeing, the review praises the cast, especially the humor. But there's also this mention of skeptical chagrin. I'm picturing someone sitting in the theater, rolling their eyes at the over-the-top antics, maybe wondering if Beetlejuice's whole shtick has gotten a little stale.
It's a legitimate concern, especially considering how much the humor in the original Beetlejuice relied on subverting expectations and challenging those societal norms of the 80s. So what happens when that kind of humor is updated for a new generation, a new set of expectations? It's a gamble, but it's also what makes Beetlejuice so interesting.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this sequel so intriguing. It's a balance between honoring the legacy of the original and pushing the boundaries of what we expect from a Beetlejuice movie.
Hmm.
And maybe, just maybe, it's a film that challenges our own perceptions of the paranormal, family, and what it means to live, even when the afterlife throws some curveballs our way.
Yeah, that's a lot of kind of layers to pack into a sequel. It's not just going back to that same old well. It's got to be you grow and change with the times a little.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what makes this whole deep dive so fun. You've got those familiar bits, the characters we love, that classic
Yeah.
Burton look, but then bam, you've got this family drama. Like, how do we even think about ghosts now? Not just spooky, but like a whole family business, right?
Exactly. That's what makes a sequel more than just a cash grab. It's like, okay, same world, but what else can we do here?
So you're listening to all this. Maybe you got to make a movie night decision. Is Beetlejuice worth it? Here's the deal. Love the first one. Good chance you'll dig this too. Great cast, that Burton humor and the visuals. Oh, they'll be amazing. I can feel it.
And even if you're like, Beetlejuice who? This one's still a fun ride. Spooky, sure, but you think about family, what we believe in, all that stuff that sticks around.
See, that's the bit that gets me. It's not just a popcorn flick. It's like, even when things are super weird, there's still something, human about it all.
Makes you wonder, huh? What's hiding in plain sight? In our families, those spooky houses we see. Maybe we gotta lean into that weirdness a bit,
And there you have it.